The specifics are classified. Our focus is shifting. The sea is under control. The land is now the theater of operations. Dawn. The calm Caribbean waters shatter. On the horizon, a silhouette of power, the USS Gerald R. Ford, the apex of American naval engineering. It steams south. Radar arrays pulse, sweeping the vast emptiness. Its deck is a hornet's nest of over 75 aircraft. Below, more than 5,000 sailors and Marines are on high alert. The official report calls it a routine deployment, a U.S. Southern Command exercise. But the reality on the water feels different. This is a deliberate move in a larger game. Tensions with Venezuela are at a breaking point. Every movement is watched. Satellite imagery confirms a shadow fleet of support ships trailing this massive military asset. Electronic intelligence is clear. An entire strike group has taken position, locking down disputed routes once exploited by illicit networks. This is a show of force. Washington remains silent. Caracas, even more so. The question is simple, but the answer will define this emerging global conflict. Dawn. The calm Caribbean waters shatter. On the horizon, a silhouette of power, the USS Gerald R. Ford, the apex of American naval engineering. The next maneuver from this Navy force could reshape the strategic balance of the entire region. The official report calls it a routine deployment, a U.S. Southern Command exercise. But the reality on the water feels different. This is a deliberate move in a larger game. Electronic intelligence is clear. An entire strike group has taken position, locking down disputed routes once exploited by illicit networks. This is a show of force. It supports a lethal Air Force contingent, more than 75 aircraft, from FA-18 Super Hornets to E-2D Hawkeyes and MH-60R anti-submarine helicopters. Defense intelligence confirms its escort screen. Multiple Arleigh Burke-class destroyers and a Ghost from the Deep, a fast attack submarine. These advanced weapons systems are designed for surveillance and precision strikes. Together, they form a self-contained force, projecting power across the entire basin. By late October 2025, at least 8 American warships were confirmed operating in the area. By late October 2025, at least 8 American warships were confirmed operating in the area. They are the lifeline, ensuring the strike group can conduct extended operations at sea. The total manpower is estimated at over 9,000 soldiers. These are sailors and Marines, a combined force from the Ford Carrier Strike Group and an amphibious Ready Group deployed from Norfolk in August 2025. A deployment of this scale is no mere patrol. This is a clear signal of a broader strategic objective, a key point in any serious war analysis. In modern warfare, every move is calculated. Each element has a purpose, from establishing air dominance with advanced drones to underwater denial. The carrier provides early warning and strike capability. The destroyers, with their Aegis combat defense systems, form an impenetrable shield. Their mission: detect and neutralize all potential threats. The submarine adds a layer of stealth, monitoring the silent underwater approaches. A chain of refueling and supply ships keeps this military machine running, allowing it to remain on station for months, a persistent projection of power. This integrated formation, a marvel of defense technology, provides complete situational awareness and the ability to respond to any provocation without delay. In or near Venezuelan waters, the strike group maintains its silent watch. Observers now expect the next phase of this war to be diplomatic. It will be backed by intelligence coordination. This deployment is both a message and a shield. This is where deterrence meets readiness. The question now is how Caracas and its allies will interpret these modern weapons at their doorstep as the focus shifts to Washington's accusations. The U.S. government has intensified its claims against the Venezuelan leadership, specifically targeting its president, Nicolas Maduro. Washington alleges he presides over a powerful criminal enterprise known as the Cartel of the Suns. American intelligence assessments describe a dark fusion. Senior military officers, government officials, and trafficking operatives, all entangled in a single network. They command a narco pipeline, one of the largest in the Western Hemisphere. The cartel allegedly controls the choke points, routes funneling between 350 and 500 tons of cocaine annually, a torrent flowing through the Caribbean, aimed at Central America and the United States. For Washington, this is more than crime. It's a strategic threat, an infection that spreads beyond its borders, a critical issue for national defense. The U.S. Treasury has already moved. Sanctions are in place. Key Venezuelan military and political figures are in the crosshairs. Accusations of direct complicity in the cartel's operations. The measures are surgical, freezing assets, severing financial lifelines. Access to the global banking system is cut. The Cartel de los Soles is officially designated a transnational criminal organization. With this move, the United States elevates the conflict. This is no longer a police matter. It is a matter of national security. Officials argue such networks are a cancer. They fuel corruption and destabilize the region, bankrolling paramilitary groups and sophisticated money laundering schemes. The financial trails of Venezuelan officials are now under a microscope. Intelligence agencies are tracking every transaction. Offshore accounts in Panama, Curacao, the Dominican Republic, no stone is left unturned. But Washington's intelligence paints a darker picture, a shadow state, a structure of criminal governance embedded within Venezuela. War analysis, reports detail how elements of the armed forces, specifically the National Guard, provide cover. They protect the shipments, the price, cash, and political allegiance. Airstrips in the west, coastal ports near Falcon and Sucre, they've become cartel territory. These are the logistical hubs. Intelligence confirms the profits don't just disappear. They're laundered back into the system, funding political campaigns, and into state-run companies. It's a lifeline, a way for the regime to survive sanctions and economic strangulation. Regional observers see a clear pattern: a narco-economy replacing the state, a nation crippled by hyperinflation, its oil revenue gone. From the Pentagon's perspective, this justifies a harder line. This is modern warfare, a toxic mix of narco-trafficking, money laundering, and state corruption. It's a direct challenge, a threat to international law and maritime security. The response? American Navy and Air Force assets moving into the Caribbean. These are not drills. They are necessary operations to contain the cartel's reach, to halt its northward creep. The effort is multinational, coordinated with allies Colombia, the Netherlands, France. A network of listening posts and patrol craft watches the surrounding waters. The accusations are no longer just words, they are now doctrine, the cornerstone of Washington's regional security policy. Tension coils in the Caribbean air. The U.S. posture shifts from accusation to a show of force. The recent military update shows these flights are a clear signal. Carrier groups on the horizon, radar screens glowing with hostile intent. Washington is matching its words with steel. With visible, undeniable power, all eyes turn to the skies. The shadow of American bombers will define the next move in this global conflict. The supersonic bomber runs began. The world watched. The United States was demonstrating a readiness posture not seen in these waters for decades. October 27, 2025. Flight tracking data lights up. 2 U.S. Air Force B-1B Lancer bombers. They cut a path close to the Venezuelan coast. Then they banked back toward international airspace. The operation was a Southcom directive, but the timing was no coincidence. Not with the USS Gerald R moving into position. The carrier strike group's presence amplified the message. Deterrence. The B-1B is a formidable piece of defense technology, a supersonic platform carrying 34 metric tons of precision-guided weapons, It is one of the most lethal non-nuclear strike platforms in the American arsenal. And these bombers were not alone. Since early September 2025, a flight of 10 F-35B Lightning II fighters has been staged in Puerto Rico. A forward deployment. This deployment provides an immediate tactical edge. These modern weapons offer short takeoff and vertical landing capability, ready to operate from the most austere airfields. A new front in this silent war or from dispersed bases across the Caribbean. The pairing of F-35s with B-1 bombers is a masterstroke of modern warfare. It extends strike coverage by hundreds of kilometers. Every movement near Venezuelan waters is tracked. If necessary, it is intercepted. This allows for the simulation of complex joint missions, fusing stealth defense technology with the raw power of long-range bomber support. The B-1's flight was no isolated patrol. It was part of a broader pattern of Air Force operations, reinforcing the Navy's maritime presence. The aircraft's advanced radar and communication systems were active. They were likely testing electronic signatures, mapping coastal defense systems. Such exercises provide invaluable data on adversary reaction times and the specific radar frequencies used by Venezuela's air defense network. By executing these missions without violating sovereign airspace, the United States military sends a message. It operates freely under international law, projecting credible power just outside Venezuelan territory. The logistics behind such a mission are staggering. They reveal the depth of American capability. Each B-1 flight requires aerial refueling, a ballet of coordination with regional air traffic controllers, and a constant link to satellite-based command networks, feeding real-time data to naval assets. This level of integration transforms the Caribbean. It becomes a monitored battle space, a global conflict zone where information and speed matter more than sheer size. The presence of F-35s in Puerto Rico is key. They slash the time needed for interception, tightening the operational circle around Venezuela's coast. War analysis experts see a revival of old tactics. It's reminiscent of Cold War signaling, where aircraft and ships operated on the edge of enemy territory, maintaining deterrence through presence. In this theater, these flights are part of a layered pressure strategy, combining air power, naval deployment, and economic sanctions. This creates a multi-domain warning, a warning that Washington is prepared for escalation but prefers control through precision and visibility. As these aircraft return to base, their mission continues. The message they leave behind is clear. The Caribbean is no longer a quiet zone of commerce. It is a strategic corridor, watched by the most advanced air and naval modern weapons in the world. The next stage of this operation will expand intelligence, surveillance, and precision targeting, not direct war. The United States is moving toward a new form of deterrence, one built on information dominance and rapid response. Its approach toward Venezuela is clear. It will not depend on massive landings of army troops or a territorial invasion. Instead, Washington's strategy relies on intelligence, surveillance, and precision strike capabilities, designed for maximum impact with minimum risk. The U.S. military understands that information. Dominance and accuracy now matter more than raw force projection. This method allows American forces to control escalation, maintaining constant pressure on the Maduro regime and its allied networks. The core of this strategy is advanced defense technology. The U.S. Air Force and Navy have expanded their use of MQ-9 Reaper drones. Their domain is the Caribbean and the northern coast of South America. These unmanned systems can stay on station for over 20 hours, carrying both sensors and precision weapons. By combining real-time intelligence with long-endurance flight, these drones give Washington near-continuous visibility over critical maritime routes once dominated by smugglers. Supporting these eyes in the sky are several Arleigh Burke-class destroyers armed with Tomahawk cruise missiles. They maintain constant patrols in international waters. The presence of these ships enhances the United States' ability to launch accurate strikes on coastal targets or moving vessels without ever crossing into Venezuelan territory. This combination of aerial surveillance and naval precision forms a modern version of deterrence, minimizing collateral damage. American commanders see it as a way to pressure adversaries while avoiding a prolonged war with soldiers on the ground. This technology-driven approach has become a blueprint for how the U.S. projects power in contested regions around the world. It reflects the lessons learned from previous interventions, where large-scale invasions by Army and Marines forces created political and humanitarian complications. In the Caribbean theater, precision has replaced mass as the measure of strength. Venezuela, by contrast, faces severe military and logistical weaknesses. The Maduro regime claims a mobilized militia of over 4.5 million, but independent war analysis paints a starkly different picture. An active force of just 343,000 troops. Most of these soldiers lack modern training, consistent pay, or adequate weapons. The Venezuelan Air Force flies on borrowed time, dependent on obsolete Soviet-era aircraft, including Su-30 Mk-2 fighters and decaying transport planes. A significant number are grounded, cannibalized for spare parts. The nation's radar coverage is a patchwork, leaving vast blind spots across its coastlines and borders. These critical failures in their defense systems leave Venezuela exposed, unable to counter the sophisticated surveillance now operating just beyond their horizon. Analysts confirm the imbalance is severe. American precision defense technology versus Venezuela's aging military creates a one-sided battlefield. The United States military can detect, track, and engage targets in minutes. Venezuelan forces struggle. Their command can barely maintain communications across sectors. This asymmetry makes direct confrontation untenable, forcing Caracas into a defensive crouch. The regime broadcasts propaganda, calling citizens to resist foreign aggression. Most observers recognize it as a move to consolidate domestic support. It is not a realistic military plan. The broader implication is clear. Modern warfare is no longer a game of large armies or heavy armor. It is shaped by integrated networks of sensors, drones, and guided weapons, a new doctrine of limited, decisive force which the United States has refined. The objective is control through speed, precision, and total situational awareness. For Washington, this is the new paradigm of global conflict. This approach asserts power without the cost of occupation. It proves deterrence can exist without invasion, as these advanced surveillance and strike systems maintain their silent watch. The strategic message is unambiguous. The U.S. intends to deter, disrupt, and disable threats long before they reach American shores. Every radar pulse and drone feed is a thread in a larger web designed to constrain Venezuela's actions. Every military update points toward a single outcome: a controlled escalation, one designed to prevent chaos while tightening the noose around illicit networks. The next phase in this unfolding operation will reveal Washington's strategy to sustain pressure, keeping the balance of power firmly in its control. The United States views its growing military footprint near Venezuela as both a counter-narcotics deterrent and a calculated application of pressure on the Maduro regime. The Pentagon's latest assessment is that recent operations by the Navy in the Caribbean have shattered smuggling routes that move between 150 and 500 tons of cocaine annually. This disruption is a body blow to the criminal syndicates. It is also a direct challenge to the financial architecture that sustains Venezuela's ruling class. By seizing control of maritime corridors, Washington is isolating Caracas, economically and politically, without initiating a full-scale war. This deployment marks the largest American naval mobilization in the Caribbean since the 1960s, involving carrier strike groups, destroyer squadrons, and submarine operations, all synchronized with Air Force and satellite surveillance. The synthesis of these sea and air assets creates a persistent monitoring grid. It is capable of identifying, tracking, and intercepting any suspicious vessel in real time. Beyond direct interdiction by American Marines and sailors, intelligence sharing has intensified with regional partners like Colombia, the Netherlands, and the Dominican Republic. Their combined patrols now lock down huge sections of the Caribbean Sea, turning former smuggling safe havens into lethal funnels. For the United States, this multinational approach extends its operational reach and distributes the cost. The strategic goal is clear: make trafficking from Venezuela prohibitively costly and exceptionally dangerous. Every intercepted shipment weakens the financial lifeline of these dark networks. Each seizure bleeds the Cartel de los Soles, narrowing the regime's options as their illicit revenue streams dry up. Washington is systematically dismantling both the criminal profits and the political power they buy. This military pressure is now being amplified by sanctions, and financial sanctions targeting Venezuelan state enterprises, the suspected arteries for laundering cartel funds. The coordination is seamless. The Department of Defense, the Treasury, and global financial watchdogs execute a unified campaign. This is where maritime security becomes economic enforcement. War analysis confirms the strategy is not just military, it is psychological warfare. The constant overwatch of U.S. Navy warships and Air Force aircraft sends a clear signal. For smugglers and their state sponsors, the margin for error is now zero. For Caribbean allies, it is a firm reassurance. Washington stands ready to defend shared interests and enforce regional stability. The deterrent is not the threat of invasion. It is the cold certainty of detection. Any illicit movement flagged by modern defense systems in minutes. A fusion of radar, infrared imaging, and satellite tracking creates a transparent battle space. For these criminal networks, there is nowhere left to hide. Yet, this show of force walks a razor's edge between deterrence and provocation. A prolonged deployment of troops risks stoking old anti-American fires across Latin America. Memories of past interventions are a sensitive fault line. To manage this, the official narrative from Washington emphasizes cooperation. Humanitarian aid missions operate alongside military patrols. The message is dual-layered, unwavering strength paired with partnership. This approach maintains legitimacy while relentlessly tightening the pressure. The goal is to prove American power can bring order, without shattering the very region it seeks to protect. As the campaign continues, the effects are becoming undeniable. Since mid-2025, smuggling incidents have dropped. Meanwhile, Allied navies have intercepted over 20% more Venezuelan-flagged vessels. Each successful interdiction cuts off hard currency. Each seizure deepens the regime's economic isolation. The American military presence acts as both shield and signal, a defense against transnational threats and a warning that corruption will be contained before it can cross the sea. But this posture invites risk. Every escalation demands a reaction. The next phase of this global conflict will be defined by the response from Caracas. Analysts see a storm gathering. 3 potential paths lie ahead in the standoff between the United States and Venezuela: de-escalation, limited kinetic action, or unintended full-spectrum escalation. Each carries consequences, and the situation is fluid. A military update from October first confirms it. On that day in 2025, the U.S. declared it was engaged in a non-international armed conflict. The enemy, transnational cartels operating out of South America. This legal classification authorizes targeted military operations. It allows for decisive action, without the declaration of a full-scale war. But the complexity of modern warfare is stark. By November 2nd, reports confirmed at least 41 civilian dead across the Caribbean. The cost of interdiction and counter-trafficking actions. The grim price of a campaign fought just off populated shores. The first scenario is the most desired: de-escalation. An outcome requiring Venezuelan authorities to cut cartel operations loose. It would mean reopening quiet channels to Washington. A reduction in maritime incidents could be the first sign. This would allow both sides to claim victory without direct confrontation. But it hinges on political will inside Caracas, and on the willingness of allies like Cuba and Nicaragua to back a diplomatic solution. The second scenario is far more direct: kinetic strikes, surgical attacks against cartel infrastructure, or armed convoys using advanced weapons. Launched from Navy destroyers or Air Force long-range assets, the tactical effects would be immediate, but the risk of collateral damage and foreign backlash is immense. The final, most dangerous path is unintended escalation. A single miscalculation, an airspace violation, a misidentified vessel on a radar screen could ignite the entire region. One miscalculation could ignite a chain reaction, drawing this global conflict into open warfare. especially with foreign advisors embedded in Venezuelan military facilities. Even a limited strike risks total war. On the ground, a humanitarian crisis deepens. Millions have fled. More are poised to run as insecurity grips the region. Command walks a razor's edge, a careful calibration between deterrence and restraint. The United States must maintain pressure without crossing the line, a line that leads into a long, bloody war. The next phase hinges on how these warning signs develop in the coming weeks. Intelligence analysts watch the screens. The glow of radar tracking Navy positions, increased Air Force activity, a shift in Caracas's political posture, the cost of interdiction and counter-trafficking actions, the grim price of a campaign fought just off populated shores. The signal is unmistakable. Washington now relies on modern weapons and deterrence, not occupation, to secure its interests. The presence of the USS Gerald R. These developments will decide the outcome: resolution or confrontation. This military deployment is a decisive moment in hemispheric policy. This is modern warfare in the Caribbean. Control is not maintained by invasion, but by superior intelligence, defense technology, and the rapid reaction of elite troops. The stakes have never been higher. Each movement of these advanced weapons, each sortie, carries the potential to reshape alliances and redefine boundaries. This is a war of influence, and the next phase will be measured not by rhetoric, but by hard intelligence. This is your latest military update. Our war analysis teams will track every B-1, B-52, and F-35 sortie, every radar signature near Venezuelan airspace, every update on the Gerald R. Ford's position. New sanctions or high-value arrests will signal the level of pressure Washington is prepared to apply. The blockade's grip will be measured in intercepted shipments, in the rising number of smuggling vessels neutralized by American soldiers and Marines. Regional responses are the next move on the board. Venezuela, Colombia, Guyana, and the distant players Russia and China. Their actions will determine if this deterrent holds or if it hardens into open confrontation. The tension over the Caribbean is far from over, and every move from this point forward could shift the balance of power. Share your intelligence analysis in the comments below, and subscribe for the critical military news you need. Stay ahead of every development in this unfolding global conflict.